What's up, everybody? This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, and this is MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spinoff Series Thursdays. Yeah! What's up, everybody? This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, your host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and this week's sponsorship is from Newsly. Newsly is a all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up web articles about the most trending topics on the web at any given moment and read them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time in ever on the internet, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. Browse articles from topic choose, start playing, start scrolling, and start listening. You can follow any topic as you specifically as you like, from sports, science to Bitcoin, even for the Kardashians. It will find you on the latest article and you read them to you out loud. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 50 countries. Our podcast, MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, is on there as well. Yes, it is. Shout out to Newsly for that. I start using it as my default podcast app. Download and use Newsly for free from www.newsly.me or from the link in the description. Use the promo code MrGentleman that I will also put in the description and receive 1 month free premium subscription. So you already know, y'all, download Newsly now. Check it out. Support them, y'all. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, your host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and enjoy the show. You are now listening to MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents a conversation about music podcast. Chew! Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman, 1/4 of the Premier Boys Podcast, and your host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And welcome to a new season of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents a conversation about music podcast. Hope all is well. And yeah, it's been a long time since we did this spin-off series. It's been over a year where we did this spin-off series. And the last guest we have on the series was Jim Uriah Starr. And that's when we was on Sundays, every first Sunday. But now, a conversation about music is finally back for season 2. And we will be doing this show every first Thursday as a part of Spinoff Series Thursday, which also alongside Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Vanna B, and the Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Ride. So yeah, I was just happy to do the show again because it's been a long time coming with many planning, many issues about many things and more. So I'm happy to be back and happy to bring you more content for a conversation about music podcast season 2. And not only that, on this show we're going to interview guests, music artists and stuff like that. We also have round table discussion on certain music topics. We're going to bring some news every here and there, and personal story, music related. So yeah, I want to do things a little bit more different for season 2 and just change it up a bit, change it up a bit. So, but on this first episode, I'm going to talk about my music journey, because as y'all already know, I was an artist before, and if you heard the last episode of the main series of Mr. Gentleman Like the Podcast, where we have my bro, Long Live the Chief, Molly Mal, who is a hip-hop artist. We spoke about the music journey, but I'm going to talk about it more on my side of it. So, yeah. And y'all already know what to do. Sit back, relax, and I'll be right back.
Check this out. My name is Twin Turbo B, and you're now listening to MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Let's get it.
Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, and I am the host of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. And this commercial break is brought to you by Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. On Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, we interview many guests about their life journey, pretty much where they come from and where they're at now. Also promoting their brands or whatever they're doing at the time they come on the show. We also have the host talk about personal stories about himself and everything that he's been through. And also we have fun conversation about anything music, anything old school, relationships, wrestling, and many more. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays at 12 a.m. We are also on every Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Spinoff Series Thursdays, where we have all of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast Spinoff series all in one day, where we have a conversation about music podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursday at 12 a.m. And y'all can tune in to Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, The Pods, and many more. Or y'all can check it out on the official website of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com, www.realmrgentlemanlifestylepodcast.com. And tune in every Sundays and Thursdays at 12 a.m. for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in to this commercial break of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Cheer!
Hey, it's your boy Bromar, host of The Bromar Show, and you are listening to the Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. At this time, it's time for the first episode of Season 2 of Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents a conversation about music. And on this episode, we're going to discuss my music journey, because I used to be a music artist. Me and my friend used to do music, and I want to talk about it a little bit, I know I brought a lot of them from the Premier with podcasts in the past, and we all spoke about it, Aaron Keto Sands, Long Live the Chief, Molly Mal, the Star Riding Rod. Yeah, and, it was a really fun journey. And, why I love music so much, I grew up listening to music as a kid. Of course, Michael Jackson was like the first real artist I listened to, my aunt, listened to a lot of old school. So she introduced me to more of like the Motown days stuff, Stevie Wonder, Stylistics, Temptations, Diana Ross, and Supremes, and stuff like that. And that to this day, stick with me heavy. As I got a little older, I started to get into more R&B, and then even hip hop. The first artist I listened to for hip hop was LL Cool J. And even to this day, music's always played a big part of my life. Which kind of ain't going to get into music. I knew that I didn't have talent. I knew that I couldn't really sing, but I've always been creative. and I wanted to maybe write music, and stuff like that. I remember my first song I wrote was in 8th grade, and it was a song called Sun. I honestly do not know where this song comes from, but I know it was comedy. And I think I'll try to do a little rapping, but I know I'm not even good rapper at all. So after that, I got a little discouraged. So I started focusing on music and started leaning towards poetry. And I started to learn more about poetry, regular poetry, haiku and stuff like that. And I started writing it, from junior high school and part of high school. And once I got a lot better doing poetry, I started to try to get back to writing music again. And I started writing a lot of songs, especially in high school. I know I started writing in 2001 to 2010. And I wrote like over 300 songs. And I ain't gonna hold you. I wish I published them because I wrote a lot of songs. Some was good songs, some wasn't so great. But I wish I published them, Or I wish me and the team could have done more with them where we had our music group, which I'm about to get to. So the music group, was born when I remember one day, the last day of school, 10th grade, myself, Aaron Kidosan, Jonathan, and my other homie, we leaving school and stuff like that. And randomly, they started freestyling. Randomly. I'm actually like, yo, since when y'all rap? They were like, we do every here and there, stuff like that, but it wasn't serious. And I was like, yo, y'all know I write music, right? I used to write my songs every day in school. I used to bring it in school and just write songs in class. I ain't gonna hold you. I used to write songs in class, So we came up with the idea of, yo, let's try to see if we could start doing something, So we had the planning stage of it. When we came back to school the next year, we would start to put it more into motion. During this time, so this was 11th grade high school, and I'm at a place right now where I'm still trying to figure out myself. I'm still trying to figure out myself, stuff like that, and trying to figure out a personality that fit me. Cause I feel like I was quiet at school. I felt like it was time to kind of get out of my shell. I wanted to get out of that self-doubt zone and try to put myself a little bit out there. So I started going with the name Ken, because in high school people used to call me by my real name, Kenneth. So I started people to start calling me Ken. I started to kind of reinvent myself and stuff like that. Next thing you know, me and the bros, we started planning on what we were going to call this group and what this type of group this was. And I know before the group, we were also, selling CDs and tapes out our life. Cause this is because, just to, people love music, just to get some extra money and stuff like that. We thought we all doing that at school. But that's a side note. But next thing you know, we all in the library and stuff like that. We all sitting, we playing like, yo, what should we call ourselves? So we wrote names of many names. We wrote our name, which was our CD group, Mixed Masters, Quicksilver, other names, and then there's one name that everybody seemed to like, and we went with it. The name that we went with was Blaze of Glory. And what made us go with that name was at the time, Pharrell and Chad put out an album called Neptune Presents the Clones, and the first official song off that album was called Blaze of Glory, which was by the Clips. Clips was big around that time. They were killing it with grinding and stuff like that. And, we were so intrigued by the name, we started to go by that name. But of course, we still trying to figure out what type of group this was. And we needed some motivation. So one day, it was a Friday after school, and we went to this thing called the Writing Center. Myself, Aaron Kidosan, and Jerm, we went to the Writing Center. And they have like an open mic, stuff like that. Next thing you know, we see this young dude, young ninth grader, in that room, stuff like that. he go by the name of Mally Mal. He would fluent by the name DJ Mally Mal at the time, and he would perform in the right center, doing open mic. People being jerks, but us three was intrigued by him, Cause we were like, yo, this might be somebody we might need, Cause he times we talked to him a little bit. He told us about his background and stuff like that. And I was like, cool, and stuff like that. We just made a friend. Next thing you know, a couple weeks later, we heard about this thing called Brown Chocolate Cafe, and we wanted to check it out because we wanted to try to open up to do more things now. So we went to Brown Chocolate Cafe, like it's an open mic event, and Mally Mal was there and stuff like that. So Mally Mal went on stage, he performed, and we were really intrigued again. Like, yo, I still went to the fella, we gotta add this dude, stuff like that, and we gotta put under our wing, stuff like that. So Sam and John approached him and told him like, yo, do you want to join the group? And he was like, yeah, and stuff like that. So we added him to the group, and now we felt like we kind of felt a little bit whole. Next thing you know, we were planning to work on our first song, and we had beats, stuff like that, right? Center, had beats and stuff like that, and we all came together. Our first song was called "It's a Love Day," and we were cheesy, but it was a fun song. The cheesy was a fun song. I wrote the chorus for it. Everybody had verses. I was the chorus guy mainly for the group at the time. Before I was heavy involved in it later, I was the chorus guy. I used to write a lot of the chorus, and it was a fun track, but it never was recorded. We performed it. We had the beat. We performed, but we never recorded. We never had a studio, stuff like that. I remember one day, a year later, we was in, we were seniors in high school. Me and Sam were walking around. We was looking for studios, so we wanted to start taking this new thing serious. And we walking around. We found this studio at Flatbush, Brooklyn, stuff like that. We went inside, talked about deals and stuff. We didn't have money. We wasn't working. We was young boys in high school. I had a summer job, but I wasn't gonna do much. But we met one artist in there. We met an artist, Sizzler, in there, and he gave us some, he spoke to us a little bit, he gave us some advice and stuff like that. And, we kept that advice for a long time. So, stuff like that. So, like I said, we on our senior year, high school and stuff like that. And I was in music class, and the project was, I had music class in high school. And the assignment was write a song about something. And I decided to write a song about love, So I wrote this song about love, and I got it to do the teacher. He told me it was really good. He gave me an 85 on the project. But, the song was really deep. I wanted to keep it for myself. I wanted to actually record it. The song that I'm talking about is a song called The Meaning of Love. And it got to the point that I took it serious. I started creating a beat for it. I used to go to Brooklyn College on Saturday, because they had music class and stuff like that there. Yeah, I started making beats. I learned to make beats, and I made the beat for Meaning of Love. It came out dope, but shout out to Sands, because he added a special thing for the beat. And when he added a special thing to the beat, it popped. So I wanted to record this song. And we found out that they were having a music CD for our school, and I was like, yo, this is the perfect time to really get on it. I was, like I said, I'm having self-doubt. I'm a shy dude. I know I'm not a singer, but let me take a shot at it, But one thing I had to think is, Long Live Chief Mally Mal, he had said that he wanted to jump on the song, and he wanted to help me get myself out there. He knew I had talent. He was happy that I believe in him, so he wanted to believe in me in return. And honestly, if it wasn't for him, I would never try to sing. I guess I didn't feel like I was the best singer, but it was decent. So we worked on The Meaning of Love. We recorded in the high school that we was in. I mean, Audio came out the way. I mean, it is what it is, but at the time, the song was pretty good, and Me and Love, we got some decent credit for it. And it was a really catchy song. Listen to, the episode with me and Mally Mal. We actually just spoke about this moment on the last episode 120, Long Live the Chief. So check out the last episode of the Gentleman Like the Podcast. I spoke about, the song, The Meaning of Love. So next thing you know, we it was 2007 now, stuff like that. Mally Mal focused on school, so we wasn't at the bottom like that, and stuff like that. We do have the group, but we felt like it was time to rebrand the group. So we decided to change the name. So we changed the name The Blaze of Glory, and we turned it into The Blaze of Click. And we felt like we needed to step up our game more. We needed to do more things now. We need to take this more serious. So we added another dude. Apparently people, when we was in high school, people thought this dude was my brother, but at the time I didn't know who this dude was at all. But one thing me and this dude also had was our love for R&B music. So we added this dude named Roddy Rod. So one day we told him to meet us at 42nd Street, to audition to the group, stuff like that. And he came straight from after school. He came after school and he met us at 42nd Street. And we asked to audition, like we were like me and Sam were like we were from like American Idol or something. and dude singing. I remember the song that he sang was Raheem Devon You. And it was really good. So we added him on, and we felt like we were rebranding the group and stuff like that. But as we had the group, it felt like it was more us turning up than us making music. We were having a lot of fun during the time, too much fun, to the point that we lost what we were really supposed to do. We lost what we were really supposed to do and stuff like that. Next thing you know, Mally Mal came back to be in the group full time again. And Mally Mal was ready to make music. And I'm like, what was ready to make music? One thing was settled with, the drama that we did with the group. We started to make music again. And and we started to do music. And we started to get real serious. And stuff like that. We used to practice every day. All our voices, our lyrics got better. And it was a fun time. We were really serious about it now. Next thing you know, we had this song called Teddy Overload. And Teddy Overload, the idea for Teddy Overload, I mentioned this on the last episode. Myself, Aaron Quinto Sands, and Germs, we walking on Eastern Parkway, randomly, just talking and stuff like that. We see this beautiful woman, these baddie chicks walking past us, and we call her Teddy. What Teddy is, it was a code name that we call, like a fine woman, like in the back of the day, New York, they'll be like, you're, and all that other stuff. That was our thing when it come to. I know it's weird to call her Teddy, but it was fun. So we started to create the idea of the song. Sands we're doing the chorus, Teddy Overload. Germs rapping 20 bars. I'm beatboxing while we walk in and stuff like that. People looking at us crazy and bobbing our head while we doing it, stuff like that. And we talked to the fellas, and I'm like, yo, we got something going with this. Let's run it back with the team and see what we could do. So we went back to the team idea, and everybody liked the idea. We added our other bro, DJ Catchin, into the team, and stuff like that. Also have, Enigma on the team, Toby T, and, many more. So it was like a lot of us, and stuff like that. So the song itself, we had a rough version. The original song was myself, Aaron Quinto Sands, Starwriter Rod, and DJ No Crest, aka Germs, was on the original version of it. The original version was really dirty. It was uncut, and it didn't feel like a regular cut. It didn't feel like it would be a single. It felt like it was an uncut, song, and it was really dirty, stuff like that. So, but it was a dope song. So next thing you know, we started booking to a studio, and Utica, stuff like that. So we went to book the studio. He gave us rules like y'all gotta make sure no dirty song, no dirty verses, and stuff like that. So we all had to clean up our verses, clean up our song, period. So I cleaned up my verse, and that was really the start of Ken, aka MrGentleman, was born, pretty much. He was born because I was inspired by an album made by Neo called Yeah, the Gentleman. And Neo was run on my music inspirational because Neo was a songwriter. So I was really heavy on Neo at the time, was really inspired by his work. And that name, felt alive. So Ken the Gentleman, pretty much been on the journey since 2008, to now. So it played a big part of my life. Stuff like that. So we about to record Teddy Overload and stuff like that. Jern's in the booth and stuff like that. Jern got really frustrated with something because we keep doing it over and over and over, and he just like, and I can't do this right now. And he laughed, and we were like, yo, we gotta record it and stuff like that. And so we shocked it. We try to figure out, well, yo, what are we gonna do? We on panic mode. We're like, yo, what are we gonna do? So Mel stepped in. He's like, you know what? I got a verse for it. How about I jump in and see what happens? So next thing you know, Mally came in, and Mally, did the song, and and then Teddy Overload was born. We worked on that song so many times, but it worked out. So, and now in reality, we got two versions of Teddy Overload out there. One, we got the rough version, and then we got the studio version and stuff like that. And we started pushing the version that we have. Well, one thing that we didn't know a lot of people gonna like the song. It's a very catchy song, a very silly song, but people love it. Many people. Every time people see that, they can say Teddy Overload, or stuff like Teddy to the left, Teddy to the front, Teddy to the back, side to side, stuff like that. And it was crazy. It got to the point where we started performing the songs. We performed it at the Bowery. Us four performed at the Bowery. We got standing ovation because of it. Our song got played at many platforms. It was played on a lot of indie radio stations. It got played on other states. It got played on Hot 97 and Power 105. And honestly, when I heard that, I was really shocked. I heard that news when I was at work. And I was working at, the job I was working at the time, New Co. I believe I was at my first year. And they didn't know, I submitted it to Power 105 and Hot 97. And I think to my ain't gonna happen. Never to give it a try. You didn't never know what happened. Next thing you know, people hit me up on Twitter. I had Twitter back then. Not the same Twitter I got now, but I had Twitter back then. They hit me up, yo, Ken, we heard you on the radio. I was like, yeah, y'all did not hit me on the radio. I'm tired for this. I got out of work. I'm tired for this. Y'all did not hit me on the radio. Next thing you know, more people will hit me up and say, yo, we heard y'all on the radio. We heard the song Teddy Overload on the radio. And when I heard so many people heard the song on the radio, I was really shocked. And honestly, that was the biggest moment of my life. Even though I didn't hear it because I was at work, but that was the biggest moment of my life. I felt like we accomplished something while we doing this news thing. And yeah, it was a crazy moment. We also recorded other songs. We recorded a song called My Star. We also recorded Rebound. And we also recorded Hometown Heartache, but we never finished it. We wrote a lot of songs. We wrote over 50 songs, but we never got you to record it though. And I feel like I wish that we could have really finished recording all that. I feel like we could have put out a full mixtape, I wish we could have done. I wish we could have done more. As time went on, things started going on in life. My grandfather passed away around this time. It was 2011. My grandfather passed away, so that my love for the music kind of died. It started dying, and I wasn't sure how to really get back to it. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to do it no more. Also, that we started pursuing the club promoting around the time. So me and Sands, we started pursuing club promoting. Roddy went along with Mally for a little bit on his music journey until Roddy stopped doing music, and Mally continued to do music even after the fact. And yeah, and we ended the group based on that. Of course, we always stayed friends after, but it just like we felt like the time of us doing music was pretty much over. So I'll talk about the story now, and I told the story with Mally recently, and I ain't gonna hold you. I told the team recently that I miss doing music, and I felt like we have a void. We feel like we did completed the work. And if it's one thing about me, I always want to have closure on something, on everything that I do, whether it's a project, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, or stuff like that. I would have had closure, and I feel like we did not have closure with the music. Maybe one day we could get together and do music again. I mean, it's possible. All of us doing a Premier podcast right now, so it's kind of possible the conversation will probably come up, but that remains to be seen. Cause I'm not gonna hold you. Lately, I've been having the bug to do it again, and just never know. Especially with what we know now, we could do a lot more things than we know now. Especially with the news that's going on in this generation, I feel like we could add some positives to it. But that's my music journey, and it's just something that I want to talk about for a while about my music journey because not many people know about it. So thank y'all for taking time to listen to this episode, and I'll be right back. Hello, everybody. This is your boy Ken, aka MrGentleman. Now, I am the host of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast, and this commercial break is brought to you by MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast presents Spinoff Series Thursdays. And Spinoff Series Thursday is the new home for MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Spinoff Series that brought to you shows like A Conversation About Music Podcast, The Old School Show, and Date Night Talk Podcast. And A Conversation About Music Podcast is a music spin-off series where we talk about anything music, from the current music scene and the old school music scene, where we interview many guests that's in the music industry and artists about their music journey. We have a segment game called The Face Off, which is a versus inspired game. And we have roundtable discussion about variety of music topics. And y'all can check out A Conversation About Music Podcast every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Every first Thursday at 12 a.m. Now, the Old School Show that featured myself and the star Roddy Rod is a show where we discuss anything old school, from music, TV shows, movies, and many more. We also bring in guests to join in on the old school conversation. Y'all can check out the Old School Show with myself and the star Roddy Rod every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. Every fourth Thursday at 12 a.m. And last but not least, we have Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B, where we talk about anything relationship related topics like love, dating, relationships, cheating, the good and the bad, and many more. And y'all can check out this Spinoff series, Date Night Talk Podcast, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. So look out for MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Presents Spinoff Series Thursday, a conversation about music podcast every first Thursdays. The Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Rod every fourth Thursdays, and Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B every second and third Thursdays. And y'all can check out MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sundays for the main series and every Thursday for Spinoff Series Thursdays. And thank y'all for checking out this commercial break. And now back to your regularly scheduled program. True! I just want to take the time to thank everybody for tuning into the season 2 premiere episode of MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast Presents, a conversation about music podcast. Y'all can check this show out every first Thursday at 12 p.m., a part of the Spinoff Series Thursday lineup. But y'all can check out MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Sunday at 12 p.m. for the main series, every Thursday for Spinoff Series Thursdays. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and many more. Y'all can rate the show 5-star rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and Podchases. The more you rate the show, the more people know about MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast. Spinoff Series Thursdays, every Thursday at 12 p.m. A conversation about the music podcast every first Thursday at 12 p.m. June 8th, Season 2 premiere of Date Night Talk Podcast with myself and Miss Vanna B. June 8th, every second and third Thursday at 12 p.m. June 29th, Season 3 premiere of The Old School Show with myself and the Star Riding Ride. June 29th, every fourth Thursday at 12 p.m. So y'all can check out MrGentleman Like the Podcast every Sundays and every Thursday at 12 p.m. Yeah. Y'all can also check me out on the Premier Boys Podcast with myself, Aaron Keto Sin, Star Rider Rod, and Long Live the Chief Mighty Mao. Y'all can also check out the show from the Premier Powerverse, King Talk with Aaron Sands, hosted by Aaron Keto Sands. Star Time Podcast, hosted by the Star Rider Ride. King Talk every Friday at 12 p.m. Star Time every Monday at 12 p.m. The Bridge Podcast, hosted by Long Live the Chief Mighty Mao, coming summer of 2023. So support all the show from the Premier Powerverse right now. If you want to be a guest on MrGentleman Lifestyle Podcast for the main series season 7 and the Spinoff Series Thursday shows, y'all can email me about myself and everything that you do to my email. Ken, ypgent@gmail.com. Ken, ypgent@gmail.com. Or hit me up on social media. Ken_MrGentleman. I repeat, Ken, Ken _Mr. MR Gentleman, GENTLEMAN. And we can set something up. Y'all can add me on Good Pods, Ken MrGentleman. Y'all already know Good Pod catered to many independent podcasters. Y'all can listen to each other's shows. You see what everybody listening to, and we have the charts. At this time, we are doing the MrGentleman like the achievements, where we shout out everything that we're doing with MrGentleman like the podcast. And of course, we have the chart, we have the Good Pod charts. And at this time, we are number 3 for top 100 shows. We are number 3 for top 100 shows. We are number 2 for society and culture. So thank y'all everybody that been tuning in to MrGentleman like the podcast for top 100 episodes. We are number 3 for normal chart and number 5 for the indie chart. So thank y'all, and let's continue to grow the show. And yeah, thank you for the support. It really means a lot. Y'all know that I don't do the MrGentleman like the shout outs during my Spinoff series, so y'all will check that out back on Sundays. Well, we have 5 new shows to shout out on MrGentleman like that shout outs on the main series of MrGentleman like the podcast. Also, check out the website www.realmrgentlemanlikethepodcast.com. Y'all can check out every episode of MrGentleman like the podcast. Y'all can check out every video that we have on the website. See every guest from MrGentleman like the podcast profile. All 59 guests. You can check out every guest appearances that I've been on other platforms, which I have many more coming soon. So look out for that. I will announce real soon. Y'all can buy merch. Partnership with T-Public through the website. Many other ways to support MrGentleman like the podcast. So yeah, support by buying merch or listen to the show, share the show, tell a friend. Yeah, just any support matters. So thank y'all for those that's been supporting MrGentleman like the podcast. Really means a lot. Yeah, and once again, thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of MrGentleman like that podcast presents a conversation about music podcast, a part of Spinoff series Thursdays. Y'all can check out the Date That Talk podcast season 2 premiere next Thursday at 12 a.m. and the Old School Show season 3 premiere of June 29th. This Sunday, we have another episode of MrGentleman like the podcast main series, and we have a podcast crossover. 3 amazing women will be coming on the show. And we discuss many topics, and I'm looking forward for y'all to check out this episode on this podcast crossover episode. And yeah, and thank y'all for tuning in to the latest episode of MrGentleman like the podcast. Have a good day or night wherever you're listening to this episode.
Hi, my name is B Wise, and you are listening to Mr. Gentleman's Lifestyle Podcast.